Everybody is born with a little something extra, and sometimes they just have to find it. A little something extra is that superpower that every single one of us has inside that motivates us and drives our passion and makes us do the things that we do.
We're all on the same team. Let's think about how we can make that team as inclusive as we can.
For those of you listening to our podcast right now, you can also check out our video podcast at alittlesomethingextrapodcast.org. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of A Little Something Extra. I'm kicking things off today. Hello.
This is weird.
Change
isn't
of pace. But I'm doing so because we have a very important topic that I want to discuss. I think this is an emergency PSA podcast. A Little
Agreed.
Something Extra. Because we don't have a guest on today, but it's an important conversation. So before we dive in, Gigi, you want to introduce yourself? Who are you?
And the Gigi.
The Gigi of what?
Yes, it has.
The Gigi of Gigi's Playhouse. Oh, hello. It's
Hello,
good to have you
look
on, Gigi.
familiar, little girl.
And who else do we have? Our other co-host?
Who is it? Mommy? Or that would be Nancy Gianni.
Nancy Gianni.
I go by
Chief
Mommy.
Police
I
Officer
go by
of Gigi's
Chief Police
Playhouse
Officer.
and founder of Gigi's Playhouse.
And I go by, hey, you.
And I am Franco. I am Gigi's big brother, National Development Director of Gigi's Playhouse,
Yeah.
and your son.
And and
A
the-
big advocate.
Yeah,
of Gigi.
creator of the Gigi's Playhouse logos when he was 6 years old.
Yes.
So yeah,
But
been around for 20.
Most importantly,
years.
I'm a big advocate, and that's what I want to talk about today because there is something going on in the Down syndrome community that's
deeply disturbing.
deeply, deeply disturbing. And do you want me to talk about it first, and then you can dive in? Because I have a pretty good understanding of the jargon that goes into how to explain this.
Are you saying that I really don't know what deepfakes means?
No.
because I don't.
But I can understand the landscape of this a little bit better. So
Yeah, okay.
ultimately what's happening right now is that I'll go on Instagram, and which has been Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everything has been an amazing place for advocacy for Down syndrome.
Sure.
We've been really, really being able to grow and change a lot of perspectives. But
I mean, you
something
get your
that's-
trolls, you get your people.
for sure, but there's a lot of empowerment happening.
Absolutely,
on
and a
Down
lot of
syndrome, and I think
growth
it's changing
in
the
individuals
entire
with Down syndrome. Yeah.
landscape of how people view people with Down syndrome and
Totally.
understanding the value there.
Yeah.
It's been great. But then there's also a dark side to this. So obviously, our Explore pages are full of Down syndrome content, and same with Gigi's Playhouse, as you can imagine. But now I'm starting to see a dark side of these Explore pages. So people who don't know this, we are in a weird world where things are changing, and there's a lot of people that promote themselves to sell images, videos of themselves on the
Sex.
internet. Sex,
All of it.
ultimately. It's all about sex. Through OnlyFans and these other pornography sites on the internet. And there are quite literally millions and millions and millions of women doing this. So I would imagine that some of them are having trouble breaking through when it comes to being able to get subscribers and things
Get
like that.
people's
More page
attention.
follows, getting people's attention. So in order to stick out a little bit more, they've started using AI and augmented reality in order to be able to put a filter on their face to make it look like they have Down syndrome. And they are dressed very scandalously in, whether it's a bra and a thong, and it's all about thirst trapping.
Yeah.
And thirst trapping is you wear very revealing clothing, and you just show off your body, and it catches people's attention when they're scrolling by. And then when you see someone with Down syndrome doing this with a caption on it saying, "I'm down if you're down," types of things like that.
and worse.
And
Yeah.
way worse. And I won't even get into some of the captions I've seen.
Disgusting.
But ultimately what it's doing is it's creating shock value. And when people see that, they stop, they'll follow. I mean, I would hope that people wouldn't follow, but people do, because there's a lot of weirdos out there
Yep.
that for some reason want to see the sexualization of people with Down syndrome, which
Puts our kids in danger.
it absolutely
So-
does. And please dive in, because that's kind of the whole thing behind it.
So what's happening is they're using this AI generated filter to put it on their face. So the diagnosis that she wears on her face, they are putting on their face, and then using a lot of sexual content to lure people in and then bring them to their Only pages or wherever they want to go to show some pornographic and sexual content and monetize it, get paid for it, whatever,
Mhm.
while having the likely, wearing the Down syndrome filter.
Yeah.
So they're sexualizing our kids, putting our kids in danger every single day by building fantasies around this diagnosis that they wear on their face and what you could be doing with them or doing to them, which is beyond disgusting. But what's even worse is when you look at when you try to report it, like I've tried to report it. Well, who do you think is checking this out at Instagram or on any of these social media platforms? AI. So AI is looking at it. They're believing the AI that this girl has Down syndrome, and they're saying, we see nothing wrong with this content. I'm like, are you kidding me? You can see, or they can't see because they are not real. So they're using AI. So they're capitalized. So these disgusting people are then taking our beautiful kids. Okay, I got to stop because I got to be able to articulate myself, and I can't because I get so angry about this. Because first of all, why are we not protecting this population is one thing. And why are more people not outraged? They just passed a new law. Trump passed that new law. Take it down for porn when people are using the likeliness.
Yeah, they use deepfakes to be able to put other people, celebrities, things, and on to pornographic videos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we have a diagnosis that these kids wear on their face. This is another form of that.
Yeah.
And the Take It Down Act should apply to this. I've reached out to our senator.
And there's like a weird line that it's
yeah,
riding on right now because how is likeness defined? Likeness is categorized to an individual, not to a general diagnosis. So that's the complicated part in all of this is that it doesn't necessarily fall within that law yet. But we need to. But it's also a new.
And who's going to make it happen? Nobody but us.
Exactly.
So they're exploiting our kids. They're exploiting their diagnosis. They're sexualizing our kids, and they're putting them at danger. We had a couple years back. There was a young adult with Down syndrome living an independent life. She was raped and murdered, and wrapped in her Hannah Montana blanket for her dad to find her. Mm-hmm. Is this what we want to do? We want to teach them to be independent so that then they become victims.
Are out in the world and then don't necessarily recognize when that's
happening. Because what people know about them is what they're seeing. It used to be, that the deep, dark web. This stuff's been going on a long time. Gross stuff like this down there. Now they're bringing it to mainstream social media with this AI-generated app. And no one cares. Everyone's going, oh, it's okay. It's a one-off. It's not a one-off. They are getting millions of followers. These fake people that have the fake diagnosis are getting millions of followers,
hundreds of thousands per
and monetizing on this, and then
the
sexualizing our kids. As a parent, and again, I don't. The reason I haven't spoke about this is because I don't want more attention to it. Because good people shouldn't have to see this stuff and what they're doing to our kids and this diagnosis they wear on their face. But we can't stop it without their help. There's that Joey Swoll, I think his name is. He's an amazing influencer who doesn't have any tie to Down syndrome. He is speaking out about this, and he's helping to get some of these taken down. But for every one you get taken down, 10 more are coming up because these influencers, they're growing so fast when they put this diagnosis, this gorgeous diagnosis that she wears on her face, when they put this on all that sexual content, they are getting so much attention and so many followers that more and more people are doing it.
The amount of engagement that's happening on these posts is ridiculous.
It's insane.
Also,
it's insane.
There's even people that are combating it that are also then building the engagement levels because you'll have people going on there being like, who is falling for this? Who is seeing that this is not that? Who's looking at this and saying this isn't AI? This is actually someone with Down syndrome. So they're calling it out. But the more you comment, the more that the algorithm for social media is going to then build it up more. So now I go to my Explore page on Instagram and I'm seeing more of this rather than more of the amazing content that's empowering of people with Down syndrome,
which is horrifying.
Well, and then also you got to think about
as soon as you search it, that's my biggest concern for me to bring this up.
Is what you were saying is to not how dangerous this can actually be for people with Down syndrome too. Because when you think about just the growth in sexualization of people and just sex in general, it's desensitizing minds for people looking at sex in general. So now you see people with Down syndrome and you're desensitizing people and thinking that they are now a sexual object as well.
100%.
And what is that going to then do to people?
They're exploiting our kids.
Yeah. And that's what concerns me the most. The exploitiveness is undoubtedly disgusting, but I'm much more concerned about just how this could then have a domino effect in the future. And all that needs to happen now, and it doesn't make any sense because deepfake should not be this hard to detect, especially these ones too, because you could kind of see it. If you look closely enough, you could see a blurriness around the face that you could tell that
I'm telling you,
yeah.
I've reported it. I have reported it, and they've come back to me. And you know, when you report it, you can't report it for what it is. You could just report a page.
A concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't even write
what it
they do
falls
not
into.
have Down syndrome. You can't write anything. You could just report
This is
that
inappropriate. This is
profile.
misrepresentation. Like there's a couple different things that you could do, but ultimately they get taken down and then they pop back up.
Yep. Well, I can't even get them taken down now. I can't even get them taken down because I think it's AI that's reading what's wrong with this, and they don't realize this person doesn't have Down syndrome. So they think I'm reporting a person who has Down syndrome. This person is faking. They do not have Down syndrome. And they're exploiting our kids. They're like sexualizing our kids. They're doing to our population. I mean, like, why are they preying on the innocent? Why are they going to a population that already needs protection?
Because they're already morally unsound. So now you're adding that aspect to it as well. I mean, it's just such a problem. And also thinking about it too is like, when you look into the comment section of some of them are being like, it's like empowerment. They're like, this is amazing. Like, just because you have Down syndrome doesn't mean that you can't be like a girl boss.
Right.
Don't even get me started on the whole idea of girl bossing with your OnlyFans account. But like, it is mind bending to me.
Well, and I didn't even know.
People are like, they have Down syndrome. Like, even though they have Down syndrome, they have the right to be able to do this. And it's like, then you're riding a fine line where it's like, okay, like at what extent?
Had Down syndrome? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Say that's the case. Like, where's that happening here? Like, like who's controlling what's going on behind the scenes? Like, it is such a blurry area in all of this, but the fact that that's not the case, like, people are completely missing the point on this.
Right.
I'm like, you're not going to find any OnlyFans models out there that truly have Down syndrome. Like, that's not going to be a market.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen.
Place.
I mean, hopefully not. But let's address the main issue here, and that there's these women out here that are just exploiting a diagnosis.
Right.
For monetization.
Yes. That's what kills me. And again, like I said, I'm reaching our senator. I've got a senator who I'm going to be working with later this afternoon who's into it. I want to get to Ted Cruz because Ted Cruz was the one who worked with the teen porn that was going on and got the Take It Down Act to a law through Melania. So got it to the White House, and then Trump signed it right on. So I truly believe if we could get them to know this is happening to our kids, I truly believe people will do the right thing. I can't get to the right people.
There's so few people out there that wouldn't back this. The reason that we're here is not because we're saying we're outraged in the fact that no one is supporting us on this.
Yeah.
It's the fact that I don't think people know.
They don't know.
Unless you're part of the Down syndrome community and you're really like actually paying attention, that's the only way that you actually know. So we just need to be able to get that out there, because I can tell you there's definitely people out there that are supporting it, because these posts wouldn't have as many likes, as many shares, as many comments, and these girls wouldn't probably have as many subscribers as they do. And then that makes me put into question.
A fetish. They're creating a fetish, which is really gross based on this diagnosis she's wearing right here on her face. She can't change that. She was born like that. All of the individuals with Down syndrome are born like that. So to now take that, monetize on it, sexualize that, and put them at risk and at danger is the scariest part for me, and why I can't get a voice to it. So that's why I'm trying to go through proper channels. I'm trying to do this politically, which, I'm the most unpolitical person in the world. And it just pisses me off that this is a route I have to take because no one else is creating change along this. Yeah. I think people are scared to talk about it as well, because they don't really know what to do. What we know needs to be done is we need to take it down. So Take It Down is the name of the law.
See it,
it's the act that's out there. And you know what it's for? If you go to that law, Take It Down Act, is a promising federal step in addressing non-consensual intimate images and deep fake content.
We just need to be able to figure out a way that it can get expanded.
This is not only offensive, it's exploitative and potentially criminal. It targets an extremely vulnerable population who, by the nature of their condition, wear their diagnosis on their face.
Oh.
This makes individuals with Down syndrome uniquely susceptible to being fetishized, mocked, or imitated for profit. Who would have ever thought that people are going to stoop that low to do something like that? These actions degrade the dignity of people with developmental disabilities, perpetuate harmful fantasies, and put real lives in danger. We've already seen the consequences of dehumanization in heartbreaking, violent cases involving individuals with Down syndrome, like the little girl or the 20-year-old who was raped, murdered, and wrapped in her Hannah Montana blanket for her dad to find. What more is it going to take? And the worst part about this is the amount of people with disabilities who are already abused, bullied, sexually abused, and no one knows about it.
Oh, yeah.
Think about that piece of this, where, you're dealing with a population of people with cognitive disabilities, with some development disabilities, and
they might not be able to communicate what's actually happening too. We think back to like when you talk about Gigi and the importance of her doing speech therapy and the fact that when she was younger, she wasn't able to articulate what would happen to her, like on the playground and things like that, when she would come home with scratches on her face.
Totally.
But Gigi,
nothing worse when you can't help your child. But also,
there are so many people out there that haven't really been able to find their voice, and the fact that now
or they're nonverbal and don't have a voice.
Exactly.
And now we're giving free reign to them, passage to them to do whatever you want.
That's my biggest concern, because there is no doubt a high rate of sexual harassment, sexual assault that does happen in the disability community, and this is something that could then accelerate that even more, because you're fetishizing.
Because people who are that ignorant, like, think about that girl from our Raleigh playhouse who was struck by a speeding driver, killed the girl instantly out in front of her house, 6 years old, and all he kept saying was she was a retard. Well, I don't understand what everybody's mad about. She was just
her
a
fault.
Retard.
She was the one who ran
She's a
out in
retard.
the street.
Yeah, but it wasn't even that. It wasn't what she was doing. It was that she's a retard and we don't need her in the life.
The value off of her life.
She had zero value. She's just a retard. So think about how ignorant people, and he literally doubled down on that back at the police department going, I don't understand. She was just a retard. And like, really, they get that in their head then, that's all they are, and they can do anything they want to them. They dehumanize them. Like, in their brains, they don't have value anyways. I could do whatever I want to them. And now we're showing, we're creating fantasies around it.
But that's also
creating fantasies
it's objectifying
around this diagnosis that they wear on their face.
I totally agree. And that's why we need to be able to, I don't know if we need to start some sort of change petition, or because I don't know what the routes to go are. If anyone listening to this podcast right now has any idea of what the right channels to take are, please send us a message, because we need to because obviously this Take It Down bill is a huge piece.
Huge, and that's what we got
to
to
be expanded upon. But the problem is that there's a
lot
of gray area in this, and being able to figure out how do you actually, there's
a moral issue here.
Well, absolutely. There's a moral issue with a lot of society at this point. So now it's being able to figure out how we can actually be able to address it.
Well, if we think about Take It Down, so the Take It Down Act is a federal law that criminalizes the publication of non-consensual intimate images, which is called NCII, online, including deepfakes, and mandates that platforms remove such content within 48 hours of notification. It also criminalizes the threat to publish the non-consensual images. The law aims to protect victims of online abuse and exploitation. Please report any page you see immediately to the social media site, which I tried. If that does not work, there is a cyber tip line at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that you can use. And I think that's something to think about. It's that for exploited children, okay, they're exploiting our children. It doesn't, these sick people but Franco, these sick people aren't thinking, oh, she's 18, she's old enough. They're looking at a 13-year-old. They're looking at an 8-year-old. It doesn't matter. They're looking at the diagnosis, which is on any age. You don't think that's exploiting? So it doesn't matter that they're
exploitive. I'm saying that the gray area is the concern in the fact that what is consensual? How do you consent to a diagnosis? That's where I'm saying that the bill needs to be adjusted in the fact that it includes whatever this would be called. I don't know if it's a filter of a diagnosis, not a filter of a person. So it's like, just in the same way that if you were to use that for like blackface or like being a racial version of it, like,
right.
there's nothing written in law about it, but like, how do we then go about it? Because this is much more consequential than anything else because of the fact that it's now sexualizing a
They're
population
sexualizing-
that
right.
is at risk.
They're sexualizing a look, a population, a diagnosis you wear on your face
I know.
that they have on their from birth.
Yeah.
So it's sexualizing them at any age. You see that look and you think that? That is putting
That's
our
the biggest
kids
concern.
at risk.
Yeah.
Every
Anyone,
single one of
at
them.
any age. Yeah.
And the fact that it's in mainstream social media, I understand that. I know that it was a big thing and the dark web, but now that we're using mainstream social media and we're letting it happen, it's disgusting. I mean, they're getting millions of
Views.
followers
Yeah.
and millions of views. We just have to stop it. So we are going to continue on with this. We are working with people. Report it as soon as you've seen it. We got to get Joey Swall on the podcast to really talk about this and what made him start reporting and start pushing it out there. He's got millions of followers, so he's doing some great work behind this. But we need other people helping us. And I'm just it's hard for me to talk about it because, as you see, I get a little worked up.
Very heated.
Well,
but so do I. Because
you know what? You're putting my daughter's life at risk. You're putting every
Yeah.
person with Down syndrome life at risk. You are not only sexualizing the adults with Down syndrome, you're doing it right down to the babies. And that scares me. That scares me.
Well, I mean, think about the audience that would be subscribing to these OnlyFans pages. Because I think I would have to imagine that the subscription rates have to be lower than the actual engagement rates on social.
Yeah.
Because one's more of a shock, so you're sharing or,
Yeah.
you're commenting or something like that. But the people that are actually paying the money to be able to see this, that in its own right is a bubble of pedophilia that you can't even get into.
No, right.
So that is that group that's there
Yep.
within it
Yep.
is the one that concerns me the most.
Yep.
Report it and take it down, please. I don't like it.
We don't like it either. So please do the right thing. Report it. Help us work on this Take It Down Act. We're going to work on it's a law now. So Trump put it through to law. So we have to get more educated on all this stuff, and we'll keep you guys posted on how you can help us. Most important thing we can do. It's really the most important thing we can do to help these guys, right?
Right.
And really give them, we want them to be independent in this world. And yet now we're allowing this platform to victimize them, to sexualize them, to steal their innocence, to steal the beauty of their diagnosis that they wear on their face. And we have to stop it.
Yeah.
Generally a little bit happier subject, but had to get out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a PSA. You gotta let people know.
Gee, do you want to end it for us here?
Sure.
Right there.
Thank you for listening to us and our host talk.
Oh,
Yes,
very
thank you
good.
for
Yes, our
listening to
host,
talk. I guess this would
might have been a
probably-
host rant.
This was a
Sorry
host
about
rant,
that. Might have
but I
been a little
think it's definitely warranted. I
Yeah.
mean, this is a really concerning issue that we really need to be addressed. So, we're going to keep exploring ways that we could be able to get more support behind this and being able to get this, maybe getting the bill amended so we could be able to then include diagnoses and things like that. But yeah, just look out for other ways that we're going to be able to try to get this stuff removed because we're
It's
exploring it.
It's
It's time.
time.
It's time to rip it down.
Everybody is born with a little something extra, and sometimes they just have to find it. A little something extra is that superpower that every single one of us has inside that motivates us and drives our passion and makes us do the things that we do.
We're all on the same team. Let's think about how we can make that team as inclusive as we can.
For those of you listening to our podcast right now, you can also check out our video podcast at alittlesomethingextrapodcast.org.